we will discuss about the topic air compressor, and this is also one of the most important topic in basic mechanical engineering. Last time we already discussed about the pumps. Now function of the air compressor is as similar as pump, and it is also the power consuming mechanical element. What actually how actually air compressor works? It takes the air and compress it to high pressure by means of the electrical motor. So electrical energy is to be supplied, needs to be converted into mechanical energy. So it is the mechanical component, and as it consumes the power, so it is called as the power consuming device. Now air compressors are of various types. Depending upon the different categories, we have to classify the air compressor in subsequent ways. You can see these classifications according to the principle of operations, how they work based on the dynamic action. We have the centrifugal and axial type of the compressors are there, and for the positive displacement action, we have the reciprocating and rotary type of the compressors are there. So this is about the according to the principle of operation, how it works. Now another category of classification of the compressors is method of the compression, how actually compression takes place. So just have to see how compression takes place. Uh, Reciprocating action, the compression is based on the rotary action. So in reciprocating, we have single and multi-stages are there, and for rotary, we have the radial or axial stages are there. And third category is according to the action, single acting and double acting. Similarly, as we already discussed this single and double acting in pump. Now, before better understanding the operation of the compressor, we have to see certain terminology associated with the compressor. So here you have to see one by one. First one is the inlet pressure. It is the absolute pressure of the air at the inlet of the compressor, the air supplied inside the compressor. The initial level of the pressure of the air, which is actually supplied inside the compressor before making the compression process. And delivery pressure is the pressure of the air at the outlet of the compressor. So the difference between delivery and inlet pressure is the increase of the pressure by the compressor itself. Then compression ratio. Compression ratio is the ratio of the, or we can call it as compression ratio based on the inlet and delivery pressure. So it is the ratio of delivery pressure to the inlet pressure. So if the compression ratio is always more than 1, because we are always having, because the function or role of the compressor is to increase the pressure of the air. So obviously the ratio of delivery pressure to the inlet pressure is always more than 1, otherwise there is no need of compressor. Okay. Then compressor capacity is the volume of the air delivered by the compressor per unit time. Unit time, maybe you can take it as 1 second, 1 minute, or say 1 hour, depending upon the requirement of the industry, and configure the technical aspect of the compressor by deciding the compressor capacity. And whenever you are going to purchase, you are going to require the compressor, you have to specify the capacity of the compressor. That is one of the important parameter to select the compressor for the specific purpose. Now here you have to see some more terminology. I will show you some more terminology. The next one is free air delivery. The actual volume delivered by the compressor. The condition is what? You have to have the normal temperature and pressure, or we can put it as the capacity of the compressor generally given in terms of free air delivery. So whenever you are going to purchase the compressor, definitely demanding about the capacity of the compressor required, depending upon your application. But generally, the capacity of the compressor in industry is termed as the free air delivery. So free air delivery is the actual work for actual air delivered by the compressor. Then swept volume of the air entered inside the compressor during the suction stroke. So swept volume is the actual volume of the air entered during the suction. Then efficiency. Efficiency is to decide whether in what term compressor is to be efficient in specific uh, working conditions. So it is defined as the ratio. It is the ratio of clearance volume to the swept volume. So here you have to keep in mind about the clearance volume. Clearance volume is the swept volume is the volume of the air entered during the suction stroke, and here it is not mentioned clearance volume, but clearance volume is the volume of the air during the delivery stroke. So the ratio of clearance volume means at the volume at the delivery and volume at the inlet is called as the volumetric efficiency. So efficiency in terms of the volume of the compressor. So it is called as the volumetric efficiency. And mean effective pressure is the pressure of the compressor. It is the ratio of work done per cycle to the stroke volume. Work done divided by stroke volume. Work done divided by stroke volume. Because we already have W. Work done W is equal to, we already defined in the previous lecture, pressure into change in volume. Okay. So mean effective pressure is nothing but we have to find out the P by dividing W with the delta V over here. So easily you can find out the P, and this that P is nothing but the mean effective pressure of the compressor. So this is about the important terminology associated with the compressor. Now you have to see different kind of the compressor one by one. So you can see we have the reciprocating air compressor. We have the reciprocating air compressor. Reciprocating air compressor are of single stage or double stage, say for multi-stage, and it is exactly similar in terms of the construction. It is exactly similar to the IC engine, in which one cylinder is there, inlet valve, outlet valve, cylinder, inside cylinder piston. Piston is connected with the connecting rod and crank and so on. But the effect is reverse. IC engine is power producing device in which we have to supply the fuel and power is produced, and that power produced at the crank is to be supplied to the rear wheel of the vehicles. But in this case, we have to supply the electrical energy to the crank. So that crank is rotated, then that rotation of the crank is transferred to the piston through the reciprocating motion of the connecting rod, through the connecting rod. So this is the reverse process. Only that is the difference between reciprocating air compressor and IC engine. And that power is basically used to compress the air supplied inside the cylinder through the piston. That is the main fundamental of the reciprocating air compressor, and minor difference between IC engine and reciprocating air compressor. So here you have to see the similar configuration. You can easily find out here, in which piston is there. This is the piston. Air is inside, air is outside. So air is entered. This crank is rotated by supplying the electrical energy through the crank, and then piston is moving upward in the second stage. Piston is moving up. The air available is compressed here inside the cylinder by means of the upward motion of the piston, and high pressure air is to be thrown to the delivery valve. So that is the simple function of the single stage reciprocating air compressor. Now we have to see some mathematical aspect of the single stage reciprocating air compressor. So here you can see same way as we have discussed in the IC engine. about the work done, how we can find out the work done. So work done in air compressor is considered in three different operations. Work done on the piston, first work done on the piston during the suction stroke, then work done by the piston during the compression. Piston will actually impart the force over the air during the compression. So actual compression of the air takes place, and work done by the piston during the delivery. So this is the work done on the piston, and this is work. These two types of the work done is done by the piston, and this is the work done on the piston by means of the crank. So we have to assume that initial pressure P1, initial volume V1, and initial temperature T1 before compression, and after compression P2, V2, and T2 similarly. And we have to see the PV diagram for that. So we can easily find out, or we can easily derive the equation of work done. So here you have to see we have three types of the processes are there. One is the isentropic process in which entropy remains constant, as we already discussed. Polytropic process is the standard process in which polytropic process index is ranging from 1 to 1.5, and isothermal process is the process at which constant temperature. So this is the how pressure versus volume diagram is to be drawn. From point A, initial pressure, then volume is increased to point B, and the pressure is increased in isothermal way, in polytropic way, or in isentropic way. So any kind of the polytropic process or any kind of the process is applied, thermal process is applied to make the pressure of the air is reaching to the desired level. So this is about the various kind of the nature of the different thermodynamic process based on the pressure versus volume diagram, and here you have to see the temperature versus entropy diagram. So this is about the P1, just you can see here, point B is there, and isothermal is like this, where temperature remains constant. So temperature T1 is equal to T2, and isentropic means this line, where entropy remains constant. Just have to see here entropy remains constant, temperature is increasing. And polytropic process is any kind of the process PV raised to n is equal to constant, in which neither temperature nor entropy remains constant, but it is in uniform in nature. Now we have to find out the work done for this kind of the process. Now, according to the previous understanding about the isothermal process, we have the work done during the isothermal process. For isothermal process, 2.3 m r T1 into log r, where r is the volumetric ratio. This equation is already derived in basic thermodynamics lecture, so you have to refer that lecture. And work done during polytropic process, PV raised to n is equal to constant, is W is equal to n by n minus 1 into m r T2 minus T1, as we already derived in the previous lectures. And for isentropic process, W is equal to m Cp T2 minus T1. So directly you can take these equations, add temperature values, gas constants, and process index is given, then you can easily find out the W, that is the work done by the compressor itself. So this is about the equation for calculating the work done. Now I would like to show you about the further process. As we are assuming that the process of increasing the pressure in compression is considered as non-flow process. So non-flow energy equation is to be applied over here. Non-flow energy equation is H1 plus W is equal to H2 plus W. Here Q is the energy supplied at the entry point and work done achieved at the exit point in form of increasing the pressure. So W is equal to H1 minus H2 change in enthalpy plus Q. H1 minus H2 plus Q is the heat. So for non-flow energy equation, we already have the equation. Q is equal to gamma minus N divided by gamma minus 1 into polytropic work. And polytropic work is equal to P1 V1 minus P2 V2 over N minus 1. So this is about the polytropic work. So based on this polytropic work and combining these two equations, we'll get H1 minus H2 is equal to mCp T2 minus T1. Okay, so these all are the equations that we already used in the properties of the gas fundamentals. So H1 minus H2 have to take it as mCp. Cp means specific heat capacity at constant pressure. So Cp minus Cv is equal to R and Cp upon Cv is equal to gamma. So Cp is equal to R gamma upon gamma minus 1. And you have to use this equation in this. You have to use this equation in this equation that already we have written previously. So ultimately Q becomes this one. So here you have to see in this equation Q is equal to mCp T2 minus T1 plus gamma minus N upon gamma minus 1 into P1 V1 minus P2 V2 divided by N minus 1. This is the equation we have already put over here. W is equal to. So now we have to add the value in this equation as we are discussed in the previous slide and putting the value of Cp and other things over here. Just have to see here, we have to put the value of Cp over here and in terms of MRT1. We will get the equation. I'm trying to simplify this equation. We are trying to simplify this equation. Cp is equal to MRT, trying to convert it into MRT, and simple mathematics is there. We'll get W is equal to this one. So trying to see this. W is equal to this one for the reciprocating air compressor. And also we have P1 V1 raised to N is equal to P2 V2 raised to N, as we are assuming that reciprocating compressor works under the polytropic process. So V2 by V1 is equal to P1 by P2 raised to 1 upon N. And trying to put this equation in this to get the more simplified equation. You can find out the more simplified equation and converted the old terminology in P1. So this is about your revised equation. By putting the value of P1 V2 by V1 is equal to P2 by P1 is to 1 upon N. Okay, so this is the value only in terms of P1 and P2 over here. We are omitting the term V2 by V1 by adding the relation between these two. Now we are considering the effect of clearance volume as shown in PV diagrams. So to see the PV diagram is already there. From process 1 to 3 and 4. And you have to see this figure so you can easily understand about the process. Here I will show you how to see this. So pressure P, volume V, and here starting from point 1, polytropic process, pressure is increasing, volume is decreasing, and then volume is decreasing, pressure remains constant, and from 3 to 4, pressure is decreasing, and 4 to 1, original position where volume is increasing, pressure remains constant. So two constant pressure process and two polytropic process. Here you have to see the effective swept volume. Effective swept volume means this is the original volume and this is the final volume. So effective swept volume is original volume or initial volume minus final volume. And ideally it is reaching to this straight line, vertical line, and we are assuming it reaches to this rather than this one. So that we are trying to make the volume constant. We are assuming to make the volume constant. So actual swept volume is V1 minus V3. V1 minus V3. Just have to see V1 is this one and this one is V3. Just have to see V3 volume. So this is the swept volume. But in this case, what happens actually in process 3 and 4, volume never remains constant. There is certain increase in amount of the volume during the decrease of the pressure. So that effective swept volume is V1 minus V4 from the swept volume, not this. So this is considered as swept volume, but effective swept volume is V1 minus V4. So in that case, you have to use the V4, and total volume is V1 from 0 to initial. And here you have to see the clearance volume V3. So V3 is what? V3 is called as the clearance volume. This is about the clearance volume. Keep in mind about the swept volume, effective swept volume, total volume, and clearance volume is V3. So that is the clearance volume. As we already discussed about the clearance volume and swept volume. Swept volume is at the suction side and clearance volume is at the discharge side. And from clearance volume divided by the swept volume is the efficiency or volumetric efficiency of the compressor. So this terminology is important by deciding the efficiency of the compressor in terms of the volume. So volumetric efficiency is effective swept volume divided by swept volume. And also volumetric efficiency is equal to clearance volume divided by swept volume. Okay, so two types of the volumetric efficiency can be found out based on the swept volume and ideally based on the ratio of the clearance volume and swept volume. And work done on the compressor, W is equal to work done during the compression minus work done during the clearance expansion, because work done is actually done during the compression itself. So we have to subtract the work done during the expansion because that is the work consumed. So it can be omitted. So actual work done is equal to work done during the compression minus work done during the expansion. So this is about the equation that we already derived and minus. We have to use the same equation here. This equation is already derived for the process 1-2 at the initial slides. And we have to use the work done during the expansion, that is the process 3-4. Okay. So from this work done, you have to omit, subtract the work done during the process 3-4, that is the expansion process. But you have to refer the PV diagram in which P1 is equal to P4 and P2 is equal to P3. So putting the value of this P1 is equal to P4 and P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3. So try to omit the P4 and P3 to make it more simple, and finding the simplified equation by adding the simple mathematics is like this. Okay, so this is the final volume, final work done by considering the compression, work done in compression minus work done during the expansion process. And as we have discussed that free air delivery is the important parameter by selecting the compressor for the specific application. So free air delivery is nothing but the volume of the air delivered reduced to atmospheric temperature. Here you have to keep in mind about the atmospheric temperature. Reduce the, if the volume of the air delivered is reduced to atmospheric temperature, volume of the air delivered is reduced to atmospheric temperature and atmospheric pressure. Suppose we have to reduce the volume of the air, it is called this free air delivery. Air delivered freely from the compressor at the entry towards the exit point. Okay, at which pressure may be depending upon the temperature and pressure of the air. Okay, so that is the how at this particular level the amount of work done by the compressor is actually recommended by selecting the compressor capacity. Okay, and mass of the air delivered is equal to mass of the air entered. At the same time, mass of the air delivered is equal to mass of the air entered. So PF, just have to see PF by T, PV by T is equal to P1, V1 minus V4. VF is final volume, V1 minus V4 divided by T1 is equal to V2, P1, V1, T1 is equal to P2, V2, P2. So here P2, V2, this one V2 by T2. P1, V1, T1 is equal to P2, V2, T2. So this is how you can use this equation and simplifying in simplifying this to understand the concept of the free air delivery. Now we have to see the one problem on reciprocating air compressor which is running at 500 rpm with initial pressure and temperature. Initial pressure is 100 kN per meter square and initial temperature is given. So P1 is given, T1 is given and running RPM is given. We have to determine the free air delivery considering clearance, volumetric efficiency, work done and power and final temperature at the delivery. What is the temperature of the air at the delivery? Take bore and stroke of the compressor as bore means diameter of the cylinder and stroke means length of the cylinder. So volume V is equal to pi by 4 d square into L. This equation may be used. And clearance volume is 5% of the swept volume. And you have to take polytropic process where n is equal to 1.3. 5% of the swept volume. So clearance volume is the 5% of the swept volume. So I have to recall the PV diagram where we have put the swept volume, and this is the 0 point, and this is the swept volume side, and this one is the 5%. You have to consider it as 5%. So from the ratio between the clearance volume and swept volume is already given. Now we have listed the data given and trying to convert it into single unit. 200 is 0.2 meter length. TF is given, initial temperature, and T1 is given, P2 is also given, P2 is also given, T1 is 293, and TF is also given. Recall the data so we can easily understand. Recall the data so we can easily understand what kind of data is given. And we are likely to govern the PV diagram. we are likely to govern the PV diagram over here. So this is about the atmospheric pressure and atmospheric temperature. That is not given, but you can assume it is because it is standard TF and PF. So it is listed over here. This is the initial temperature given in centigrade. We are converting it into Kelvin. Now what we have to do is we are trying to calculate the four things: pre-air delivery by considering PV diagram. The swept volume, first we have to find out the swept volume. V1 minus V3 is equal to pi by 4 d square into L volume. Pi by 4 volume of the cylinder. Pi by 4 d square into L. And it is given. D is given, L is given. So we can easily find out the volume of the cylinder. So swept volume V1 minus V3. But clearance volume is 5% of V1 minus V3. V1 minus V3 is the swept volume. And relation between clearance volume and swept volume is already given 5%. So two equation, two unknown, we can easily find out the V3 and subsequently swept volume V1 minus V3. Then V4 minus V3 is equal to P3 by P4 raised to 1 upon N. So from this equation, put the value of that equation. The value of that equation over here. And effective step volume is V1 minus V4 because we have to calculate the V4. V1 minus V3 is the swept volume, but effective swept volume is because volume never remains constant in process 3-4. Just recall the figure diagram, PV diagram. So effective swept volume we have find out, and here V1 is equal to V1 minus V3 plus V3. So V1 is to be calculated, and just have to see here. So you can easily understand V1 minus V4. And effective V1 minus V4 is equal to 0.00828 meter cube into 500. Okay. As RPM is already given, so we are trying to convert it into meter cube per minute. Revolution per minute. So multiplying with the RPM will give the meter cube. Volume is meter cube per minute. So that is the rate of the air we are likely to calculate from the RPM. Then we have to see P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. Same thing, atmospheric condition, first condition, and from that we have to calculate the VF. This is the VF. Very simple thing is that this is the VF, and volumetric efficiency is equal to VF divided by 500 into V1 minus V3. So 85% is the volumetric efficiency, clearance volume divided by swept volume. And work done is equal to N upon N minus 1. Simple equation that already we have derived. You have to use directly this equation and put the value, and you will get the answer. Very simple thing is there, very simple problem is there. Calculating the work done. And after calculating the work done, you have to calculate the power. Power P is equal to W into RPM, but it is given in minutes. But power is to be in per second, so divided by 60 to convert it into revolution per second. Revolution per second divided by 60, and we get the kilowatt. And free air delivery, find final delivery temperature. Final temperature is T2, and T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to N upon N minus 1 divided by N. That is the standard relation applicable to polytropic process. We'll get the final temperature. So this is the way how we can find out the all four parameters as per the requirement for the reciprocating air compressor, and you can use this simple terminology to find out the different kind of the reciprocating air compressor. Now we have to see some idea regarding the multi-staging in air compressor. So to obtain the high pressure ratio in single stage, the size of the cylinder should be very large, because high pressure ratio is very difficult to achieve for a single stage air compressor. In that case, we have to keep the size of the cylinder very large, and it is practically very difficult. So what we have to do to avoid such practical difficulty, we are trying to convert the cylinder in multi-stage. So here you have to see multi-stage air compressor is employed with intercooler and high pressure and low pressure cylinders. So here you have to see high pressure and low pressure cylinders are added over here. Cylinder, low pressure and high pressure cylinder, just have to see, and providing the intercooler. Intercooler is there. This is the intercooler. This is the intercooler, and transferring from high pressure. Just have to see. I may zoom this so you can easily understand more easily about this figure. So just have to see intercooler 1 to low cylinder, high cylinder, and here air receiver, pressure air receiver. Air from the atmosphere is to be added to the low pressure cylinder, then supplied to the compressor, then second low pressure cylinder, then intercooler 2, and then high pressure cylinder. So this is the way in each and every stage we are trying to increase the pressure, so that we can achieving the high pressure ratio. From say initial pressure to the final pressure, we are achieving the comparatively good high pressure rather than this one. So this is stage 1 output pressure, stage 2 output pressure, and stage 3 output pressure, and in subsequent stage we can achieve the good amount of high pressure from this to this. But directly it is not possible. Directly it is not possible, but we are going to the stage multi-stage. So this is called as the multi-staging of the compressor. The primary advantage of multi-staging is what? The work done per kg of air is required less, so we can achieve the good amount of efficiency at the same delivery pressure. Even high volumetric efficiency for a given pressure ratio is considerably very high, and there is no chance of the leakage, and provide the effective lubrication with low temperature range. So maintenance cost is considerably becoming very less, and unique torque for the same size of the flywheel. So torque, there is no issue of the torque also in such kind of the things. So this is about the reciprocating air compressor in single stage with the example, and reciprocating air compressor by means of the multi-staging and its advantages. Now rotary air compressor, very simple concept of the rotary air compressor. Rotary air compressor works on the principle of rotation rather than reciprocating motion. Here centrifugal compressor and axial flow compressors are widely used, in which centrifugal action is used to increase the pressure, in which we are likely using the impeller, as already we have used in the pump. So same concept is used here, same fundamentals are used to increase the pressure by means of the impeller during the action of the centrifugal force. And air moves away from outside of the edge of the infuser to the diffuser ring into the volute, where pressure rise occurs, as theoretically there is no energy loss. So pressure is increasing by changing the area, and we are assuming that theoretically there is no energy loss. However, some energy loss is always there, and the volute has increasing section round to which air duct is attached to collect the compressed air. So it is called as the radial, also called as the radial compression. And in axial, this is the figure of the rotary air compressor as equal as similar to reciprocating, similar to centrifugal pump. Compressed air delivery, just to see compressed air delivery. So this is the entry, diffuser rings are there in between these two. So from the edge to the outside of the impeller, the steam is thrown out under the rotation like this. And axial flow compressor is the thing where alternate row of the fixed and moving blades are used. So here you can see the figure in which fixed blades are there. At the top edge, fixed blades are there. So these are the fixed blades. You can see the fixed blades is attached on both sides, and in between, with respect to the shaft, this moving blade is rotating in between the gap of the fixed blade casing in the axial direction. So this is the casing, fixed casing, over which fixed blades are there. In between this moving blades are fixed in the gap and is rotated with respect to the shaft drive side. And compressed air is intact over here and passing through different stages of moving and fixed blade, and trying to increase because area is just to see decreasing, so air is compressed and moving out in both sides. So this is the area or thing where air is moved out, and we can achieve a ratio of considerably very good, 10:1. So it is commonly used in the aircraft gas turbines. Aircraft gas turbines are normally using. And here you can see the rotation of the shaft is 30,000 revolution per minute. So considerable amount of the pressure ratio is achieved. I'm trying to remember the application. So this is about the axial flow air compression. So this is about the compressor.